are Tegan and Sara.
And you are watching Moshcam. Right now, my favorite song off of our new record is Shock to Your System, and it's been holding court for a couple weeks, so I don't know when it's gonna get bumped out of the top spot. It'll just, depend on how things go, but so far the crowd response, I feel like it's a surprise for the audience. I think it's the last song on the record, so maybe a lot of people haven't really digested it yet, but it sounds massive live. The light show for that particular song is great, and Sara just gets up there and really just wails. She just wails.
That's cool. I really enjoy playing that song live as well. It's interesting, it's an evolution because we finished the record over a year ago, so you get really attached to the recorded versions. And then there's this wonderful stage where you start playing them live and start to get comfortable with them, and then immediately, like Tegan said, like the song sort of like, I don't know, they almost like have a different life when the audience starts to hear them. And even though like certain songs are my favorite on the record, once you're playing them live, based on the audience response, you might find that you actually have a totally different favorite.
Just so you know, the classy answer would have been one of my songs.
Okay, so probably my favorite song is I Was a Fool, which is a Tegan song. It's weird. And no, I love all the songs. I think they're all strong. Not that I haven't liked our other albums fully, but this record seems to be a little bit more bulletproof for me. I'm not growing out of them. Thanks. When it comes to the older material, that definitely changes for me. Like there are songs from the back catalog that I will just totally find like brain drain on. Like for some reason, Walking with a Ghost from our 2004 record, So Jealous. It's a fan favorite, and I feel like it's a hard one to not put in the set list. I feel like the beginning of that riff always gets like a really good response, but it's a tough one for me to play, and so I'll go through stages where I'll really dislike it, and then I'll also go through stages where it's almost like running a marathon and I'll really enjoy it. Like when we get done it, I'll feel like we've really accomplished something. So,
I'm trying to think of favorite old song. I mean, we have a couple songs like really sing along, like Back in Your Head, Call It Off, 19. Those songs seem to really resonate still with the audience. Even new audience members, like when people get into the new music, they go back and buy all the old favorites. So I think that my moments on stage where I feel most excited and most connected to the audience is when we're playing old songs and they're singing along at the top of their lungs.
Yeah, that's true. We've actually just started playing 19.
We just played the two of us acoustically, and everyone just like belts it out along with us and screams. And there's something that's just very moving about that. I can't help but like transport myself back to when I wrote the song, and I was just sitting up in my attic, writing the song. You just never think of what the audience will look like or feel like when they're singing it to you. Every night without fail, I get up there and I kind of butcher it every night, because I get really emotional and I get the timing wrong coming in and out of the verses, and it doesn't really matter because everybody sings, and it's one point in the set where I see a lot of people close their eyes and really give it, which I love because we spend so much time dissecting our own music for press, and I just love that our audience, they just project their own story onto it. Like they don't even need to know what we wrote it about. Like they just have their own idea of what that song is, and it's a really magical moment.
It's tough with the lyrics because I think when you're playing the songs live, sometimes the most intense moments, it's when the audience naturally wants to sing along, like the certain chorus, or pre-chorus refrains or things like that. So right now, I find that when we're playing Shock to Your System, I really see the audience get into the sort of like chorus part, the What You Are Is Lonely, and I see people like screaming that at the top of their lungs. And it's not one of my favorite lyrics to sing, and yet I find myself singing it with a totally different kind of passion when I see all of those people singing it with me. So it's interesting how that changes. On the record, I think I'm maybe most connected to the lyrics I wrote for a song called Now I'm All Messed Up. What about you?
I think the two lyrics that are my favorite right now, from I'm Not Your Hero, I was used to standing in the shadow of a damaged heart. I liked that. I was like having a very emo time when Sara wrote that song. I was like, we should call the record that, In the Shadow of a Damaged Heart. And Sara was like, no. And then
so bad.
My other favorite lyric, it's only bad because of the way I said it. It's a good lyric. The other favorite lyric that I have right now is from Closer, in the bridge, where we sing Here Come the Dreams. And I love it because it's a really nice moment. It's a calm moment in the song, and that song obviously right now, because it's getting so much radio play, people get really excited. In the first chorus, everyone like fist pumps. We've never really had a song like that. It creates a very intense like flood of like energy at us. The first couple times it happened, I thought the floor had collapsed at one of the venues because everybody shifted forward, and to see thousands of people shift forward looks like people are falling. I was like, oh my God, the venue is collapsing, like everyone's falling into it. Like it was a very intense moment. I screwed up the lyrics, and so, but then the bridge happens, and it's a really nice sort of like open moment, and I see a lot of people screaming and cheering and singing that lyric. And I think for us, Heartthrob was a big record for us. It was a big step forward sonically, and so when I sing that lyric, I really think about us, like, and how many of our dreams we're accomplishing at this point, you know, because we're scratching things off the bucket list really quickly, and it feels really exciting. So that's the moment in that song where we really take in everything we've accomplished. So yeah, my favorite guitar right now is a little mini Martin that I have. And when it arrived about 5 years ago to the studio, I was like, this is a toy. Put it in storage. And then it randomly ended up at my house a couple years ago, like out of storage, and I started writing songs on it. Now it's like my guitar. I'm sure our sound guy is like, put that toy away and hold a real guitar. But I love it. It's small bodied, and Sara and I, we're tiny. We're like 5'1", and so when people always bring us guitars, and they're like, you'll love it. And I'm like holding it like this, and I'm like, I'm too weak. I can't reach. You know, it's like exhausting. So I love it. I don't know the exact model, but it's the smallest Martin they make. It's a child's guitar, basically.
I've been playing the same guitar since 2006. It's a Malcolm Young Gretsch, sort of blonde color. I would call it yellow, but to seem more professional, I think the right way to say it is blonde. And I just love it. Love the sound of it, and it just feels right. And I broke it recently, and I think it's even better now that it's been broken. So I love it. I like to sing before the show. I do vocal warm-ups, which I don't really have any sort of fun attachment to any of them, but I do like to sing in high falsetto, anything. Like I'll just run through. Right now I've been doing Frank Ocean, Thinking About You a lot, but then I'll like morph that into Wanted Dead or Alive by Bon Jovi, and then sometimes I'll do, what's the song? It's a Supreme song. I can't think of it. But I'll do like a morph of like all these songs, but all in the same key in falsetto. That's my warm-up routine.
It's pretty wicked to witness.
Yeah.
My favorite, right now we've just, as a band, have this as Sara sings in the bathroom in falsetto, the rest of me in the band, we perform a few of the new songs acoustically, some like with the highest and lowest notes. This is a new thing for us because our record is so hard to sing and it's very ambitious for us. So, but the band has taken to playing all their instruments but vocally. So they sing their bass parts and their keyboard parts, and then they sing all Sara's background vocals, and then they sing the background vocals that we sample in the show as well. And it's actually kind of cool, and I think, anyway, from my perspective, we're gonna video one of them and maybe put it up online because it's actually really funny to see.
It might be worthy of like a Vine or something.
Yeah, like 4 dudes singing all of Sara's background vocals while I warm up. It's pretty funny. So it makes it feel like the homework and all the rehearsing that we have to do before the show. It makes it feel fun, which is really great. Favorite gig is definitely tough because each night you really try to find something awesome, like, you know, that you experienced, or find something new and fun that's happening in the audience. But I really remember one gig from our last record cycle that was really, really important and memorable for me. It was in Chicago, and it was the biggest show we'd ever played headlining. So there was like almost 4,000 people there, and everybody else got off stage and just kind of like had like a fun night. Like they were like, that was fun, but I am so manic I've watched clips of it, and the whole night I was just like, thank you, Chicago! That's next song! Like I was just like so excited. It was just so many people. I don't know, first time we played Chicago, we played like 13 people in the attic, some upstairs thing acoustically. You know, Sara and I are so proud of our fans. I think we have a really amazing fan base. We have a very, very interesting and diverse fan base, and we have a lot of what we call our diehard fans that like will travel. Like this morning, we're in Australia, and there are American diehard fans who are outside the Sunrise Studios at 7 a.m. Like, so it's really neat. And a lot of them are like our age and have real person jobs, but they just travel on the weekends, and they're very quick to tell us stories about, like, obviously our music, and Sara and I are why they're out there and they love us, but it's actually the fan community, and it's the culture, it's the people that they've met through listening to Tegan and Sara that they actually seem to really love. You know, we've met people who have gotten married that met at Tegan and Sara concerts. Like we're friends with a couple that were what we used to call our first American fans, who started a message board in 2000, and they're married and have 2 kids now. And they met on a message board, you know, that they created. And I don't know, it's just like these really fascinating, fun stories where like I always joke, like we're like Fish or like the Grateful Dead or something. Like we have these fans that just kind of stick with us, and they bootleg our shows, they bootleg our stories and trade them online, and they've been with us for over a decade, and I really feel attached to them. I like seeing them in the audience, but then I also really love the like 13-year-old kid who just heard about us from, you know, watching Veronica Mars or something, and I love that what we represent to them, and I love that they're so attached to the music, and I think Sarah and I feel a huge responsibility to them to be good and provide a great show and great new music, and I think it keeps us in line too. I think we've never gone off the rails too far because we really feel we owe a lot to our audience. So.
I mean, we all sort of end up doing a lot of like one-on-one listening, like not as a group, like listening to music, and I think that's maybe the sad part of moving into like bus culture. Like when we were, you know, in the early 2000s, and we were like touring in vans, minivans, and 15-passenger vans.
CD books.
Yeah, we would have these massive CD books, and we would just like take turns DJing in the co-pilot seat, you know, in the front of the bus, the front of the van. I kind of miss those days, but then I'll like get into a van to do like a promo thing with all the guys, and everybody's like breathing hot coffee breath, and like, you know, you start to like get in the van and you start driving and you start to feel like you're gonna fall asleep, and then I'm like, oh yeah, no, I hated van touring. I hated it. So, but I do sort of miss that culture of like all communally listening to music. But that didn't give you an answer to your original question.
I know, I'm trying to think of the last time we had like a bus party to what we listened to.
I think as a group we all really love, like, we all can come together on things like Robin. Yeah, I was gonna say we all like anything that's kind of like upbeat and fun and we can all sing along. I think we all have fairly different tastes.
Our walk-on music is what's the band that we walk on stage to?
Well, we usually walk on to ourselves.
No, but before that, when we used to walk on to Back of Your Head.
I don't know which song you mean.
The song that we did the heartbeat into Back of Your Head.
Oh, that's like a old, I think We're Alone Now. I think it's like the something in the Shondells or something, like old school music.
We all dance to Shondells.
Yeah, like that kind of like Motown era stuff, like Supremes, or like, you know,
it's an eclectic group.
Yeah,
we lots of people with different styles. We used to have a front of house guy who was obsessed with like metal music, and like, you know, then we have a folky guy, and Sarah listens to a lot of hip hop and, you know, electronic music. So it's an eclectic group, but everybody's always sort of singing something.
Yeah.
But Sarah really overpowers us with her falsetto singing. I mean, she holds it down, so.
Step up if you have a falsetto.